こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、リーズユナイテッドの田中碧に関する動画です。リーズユナイテッドは、プレミアリーグの前節で、エバートンに悔しい引き分けを喫していましたが、田中碧のパフォーマンスもあまり良くなったという評価から、とても悪かったという評価が多いようです。おなじみのリーズファンのコーナーは、田中碧について擁護することが多いですが、この試合に関しても、基本的には田中碧を擁護しています。ファンのコメントは、田中碧に関して、ネガティブなものも多い中で、どのように田中碧を擁護しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。Terry says, a good first half for Leeds last night. We should have won it in the first, but let it slip with a poor second half. Not sure what's more frustrating, waiting for Connor or Fark to make a sub. If I win that, then, yeah, mate, your priorities should be different. Josh says, annoyingly, after Everton changed system, we couldn't get our wing-backs forward enough. Our only outball became DCL. It did, mate, and I think... And James, Tanaka had a howler last night. Look, I mentioned Tanaka on the instant match reaction, but then I sort of engaged properly and had a sit down and thought to myself, when you are defending your box and taking care of the ball is something, 100%. But when you're trying to sit in a low block for 35 minutes, of which it was 35 minutes, and you're asking how Tanaka to come on to shore that up, it's a little bit difficult. I think Tanaka comes onto a different game state and influences it in a different way. Maybe Leeds chasing a goal. Maybe it's a little bit more balanced. Maybe where there's a little bit more of an attacking dependency in the game. He didn't have that. He just literally, I'm at the game, I'm watching him, and he just stood on the centre-back's toes. So I'm not going to blame him. And he doesn't play minutes. I can't express, like even when I play Saturday and Sunday League, if I'm benched, which never happens, obviously, but I'm joking. But, you know, if I'm benched or whatever, and then I come on, it takes you games to get into it because you're rusty. You've not been playing minutes. You're a bit nervy. I think he looks nervy at the minute. I think he's trying to prove himself. That's what Tanaka's problem is at the minute. He's not in the flow stakes. He's not getting minutes. It's what it is. But I'm not expecting Al Tanaka to come on and change everything. And that's why when there's not that many minutes given out to some of our players like Willie Gnonto, and then the fan base will hammer Willie Gnonto when he comes on for 5 or 7 minutes. So I know there's been longer when Nonto's come on, but it's been brief, hasn't it? Comes on, he doesn't set the world alight, which, believe it or not, that doesn't happen when you're on the bench and not getting minutes or starts or whatever. I don't go out my way to blame Nonto. You know, it just doesn't happen. I'm just like, well, yeah, if you've ever played the game, any of you at a relative level, don't even have to be at a level, you see subs coming on and subs are rusty and they don't get enough minutes, they're going to be like that. That's why you spread the wealth out a little bit when it comes to minutes and you're going to get more out of that person. So, yeah, I'm not going in on Tanaka too much after that last night, but it just, you know, I watched the game back today. And I thought in that first half, I mean, because I'm there, I can't tell you how much they were turning against them. I cannot tell you, in and around me, everywhere, Leeds fans were vocal. It was like you could hear a pin drop in that stadium after, you know, they had their tifos, and it was very, very nice watching. You know, if you can see it's the future of football. I've heard some Leeds fans saying that they didn't like it and stuff. I liked it. I think it looked great. I do. It reminded me very much of German stadia and European stadia, of which you guys know that I'm well into anyway. So I really enjoyed it, and it's got really good acoustics. It's just maybe how it's built instead of it just being a bowl or a dome, or with sort of this massive area ahead. It's kind of like built. It's very, very narrow, but built upwards. So it's a real good chorus of noise. But yeah, Leeds fans were brilliant. And we just completely controlled it. At the first half, it should have been 2, should have been 3. But I think I put a tweet out. In the second half. And I hated how we came out. I hated it. Hated how we came out. And all of a sudden, the anxiety just started absolutely flowing through me because I said to Mike, who was next to me, I said, I know what's going to happen. He went, no, you're in control here, mate. And I went, we're in control in that first half and first 55 minutes. But I said, this is you will score here because we can't defend like that. We're not good enough to defend like that. We are not. So I was really frustrated because I think Leeds at points, attack is the best form of defense because we've got a plethora of really good technical players on the bench. I thought he got it wrong. That was on Farka last night. It was him not managing that second half. That was on him because we had that game in our grapple really, and it was just such a shame that it was one of those where we just sat and there was clearly an instruction to sit and we just sat, and then he reacted to Everton. So substitutes, in due course. But I thought when Facundo Buonanotte came on, even when Longstaff came on, but I thought he was poor. But when Longstaff came on, no, Tanaka wasn't great. But when we made those attacking subs, Leeds got control of the game again. And you just think to yourself, I mean, Leeds have lost 15 points from winning positions. If LUFC Data put something out with the second worst team when it comes to losing points, Bournemouth have lost 18 points from winning positions. We've lost 15. If we'd have got those 15 points, that's not normal. But let's say if we'd have got those 15 points, Leeds have been in the Champions League spots. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of, especially away from home, and especially when we've been putting in really good performances. Brentford, Sunderland, Everton, Newcastle, and you're coming out with 3 points. And I know they're decent points, but I'd like to see us turn those into wins. And it just felt last night, I just had a feeling going into that second half. I thought we're in control of it, but they're going to bring Dewsbury Hall on. They're going to bring Branthwaite on, and there is no chance Farke's making half-time subs. And the intention will be to sit on it, but you can't sit on it when they've got players like that on the pitch, and suddenly they're pushed high. Leeds United regressed. We didn't want the ball all of a sudden when in the first half we were really, really good on the ball, in tight pockets, under pressure, very good on the ball. All of a sudden we didn't want it. And we went back. This is my only worry. This is my only worry with it all. I'll be honest with you. It's the fact that outside of the Chelsea game now, if you look at the formation, it's 3-5-1-1. Now, you can morph it as a 3-5-2. I don't think it's been a 3-5-2 since the Chelsea game. And the reason is I think Leeds go to a 3-5-2 when it's Metcha and when it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't think Noah Okafor's a striker. I don't think he plays for Leeds United as a striker. I think he plays effectively as a winger or just in behind the striker. He's not as far forward as Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which him and Metcha are effectively in a front two. He plays just in behind, like Brendan Aronson did with Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Newcastle, and like we've seen him do before. It's a 3-5-1-1. So it feels, and this was kind of our worry, because I think the back three really protects us, and I think we look miles better. But you've seen us play football a lot more, and that's great. That's amazing, 100%. And we look really good playing football at points. That's all credit to Daniel Farke. I am a little bit worried at the minute, and you can see it. Obviously, you guys all know you'll go to more of the games than I will, but you can see it in full throng when you're there as well, how isolated he is up top again. And that's my worry, and especially in the second half, when you're defending in the low block and you've got the big man up top. And our tactic, I put out on socials, but what is the game plan? Like, as a, Daniel, like, as harsh as it is, as a Premier League manager, what's the game plan here to protect the lead? Attacking can be the best form of defence because we can get a second, cripple the confidence, get the fans against them. And they were on the edge last night. I'm telling you, they're on the edge of tipping. We didn't do that. We sat back, gave them confidence because they're gaining territory, conjuring a few chances, although they didn't do that much. And yeah, and that happened, unfortunately. And that happened. So I was gutted, I have to say, because I just thought it was there for us. And there's been too many occasions. At Bournemouth was another one. Too many occasions where Leeds are leading, and we get to the point and you're thinking, oh, here we go, yeah, we could get this, and we end up just giving up another draw. So yeah, I was disappointed. When you take a step back, and I've said this to you guys before, if you take a step back and you said to me before the game you took a point, I'd have probably said yeah. I'd have said that against Sunderland. I'd have said that against Brentford. I'd have said that against Newcastle. The problem is when the game state changes and you are managing a really good result, then the sort of mindset of wanting a point completely changes. Last night I was like, we can get 3 here. They weren't great. And neither was Sunderland, and neither were Brentford, neither were Newcastle in long phases. So it is the management of the game in the second half, which will always be the criticism of Farke. It will. And those substitutions, it will always be the criticism. He's done so well to get us to this point. But that will always be, his critics, and I've been a vocal critic of Daniel Farke before, that will always be what the critics will lie on. It is the fact that he's done so well to do this, so well to get us into a 3-5-1-1, 3-5-2, whatever it is. And he's managed it superbly. 1 loss in 13, it's unbelievable. But it's interesting when it's... Mike said to me last night, he went, long term, would you keep Daniel Farke? In terms of, if we stayed up this season and you're trying to build a little bit incrementally, would you keep him? And I still think there needs to be a little bit more of an adaptation and a pragmatism and a level of being able to manage Premier League games better. And I think that is what will really sort of mold his managerial prowess, and hopefully he gets to that point, you know. Hopefully he gets to that point. And I want him to get to that point. You want continuity. But I just thought it was down to him, in my opinion, that we didn't win that game last night. But we played really well, and that's because of him in the first half. So it's difficult. And he's getting a team with two key injuries out of that, you know, in that team to still play at the level they did. But yeah, I just thought the management that second half was poor. I thought it was poor, and we really let them gain territory. So okay, let's have a look at what you guys are saying anyway in the comment section below. Richard says, hi Connor, I hope you're well, buddy. You too, Rich. I don't know if it's just me or not, but I'm getting a bit fed up with Strand-Larsen. It's Pai Zhao, isn't it, mate? We're back there again. Imagine doing this every day, Rich. We need to move on. Wolves are waiting for the highest bid. It's one thing to come on, says Zach, and not change it for the better. To come on, be involved in opposition goal and barely complete a pass. It's another entirely. He was honking, end of. Presumably that is about Tanaka. He didn't have a good game, but Zach, I'm talking about the lead up to it. The lead. I don't know what we're expecting without Tanaka. I don't know what we're expecting. Sitting in a low block, gets the ball occasionally, trying to play the way out. He doesn't get minutes. He doesn't get minutes. So it's very, very difficult. You can tell he's not got confidence at the minute. That's the problem as well. Agree, Connor. Tanaka and Nonso need some more consistency in playing because they definitely look rusty. Yeah, 100%. Knox says, can adapt an in-game not come from a better coaching staff? I guess it could, mate. Yeah, I guess it could, 100%. Paul says, totally agree, Connor. Farka just doesn't do the game management. It's his Achilles heel, and it's costing us. This is what I mean, guys. Over here, I try to promote, you know, a little bit of critical thought, and I know some people don't like that, and I understand that, but we'll give praise 100%. He's done an excellent job so far. Keeps Leeds in the Premier League. If he keeps Leeds in the Premier League, he's done an outstanding job, Daniel Farke. An outstanding job. But that is a part of his game which is weak. It is his game management. And I think we're all saying it in the Championship as well at points. Ow isn't good enough. Wow. Mad. Wow. I guess, I know what you're saying, Stuart, and I know what you're saying, people. Hi, Jordan. I think what you're all saying is in the same boat, or maybe you're not, but you're in the same boat when it comes to if a player isn't playing. And I wonder what Tanaka's minutes are going to be now Sean Longstaff's back as well. But now Sean Longstaff is back. I wonder what his minutes are going to do because we know Farke loves Longstaff. So Tanaka and Nonto, players who just not long ago, we were talking about that Derby game and how brilliant they were in that game. Yeah. I just kind of I think Strouk's been brilliant and he's a first teamer and he's reliable and he's dependable and he's always there. And we've been talking about, you know, Piroe been injured. We're talking about Rodon been injured. James Justin at the start of the season, a few fitness issues. There's been one constant, people. Bogle, fitness issues. Goodmanson now, fitness issues. One constant. That is Pascal Strouk. So, yeah, I think it would probably be Nonto or Tanaka. But I don't know.
次は解説です。今回は少し珍しく感じるかもしれないボキャブラリーや表現もありましたが、フットボールの文脈ではよく使われるものも多いと思いますので、本品の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。And you're asking how Tanaka to come on to shore that up.
ショーアップは弱っている部分を補強して安定させるという意味の駆動詞です。もともとは崩れそうな建物を支柱で支えるという物理的なイメージかと言えます。サッカーでは守備を安定させるために交代するといった場面でよく使われます。完全に作り直すのではなく、今ある形を保ちながら支えるニュアンスがあります。そのため、守備、中盤、チームバランスなどによく使われます。ニュースやビジネス英語でも品質の表現です。状況を立て直す、持ち直させるという意味で覚えると便利です。
And you're asking how Tanaka to come on to shore that up. That's where you spread the wealth out a little bit.
Spread wealth は富や利益を一部に集中させず、広く分けるという表現です。スポーツではお金の話だけでなく、出場時間や役割などの資源にも使われます。例えば監督が一部の選手ばかり起用すると、控え選手は試合感が鈍ってしまいます。そこで出場時間を分散させることを Spread wealth と言います。アウトやアラウンドがつくと、より交互的で自然な響きになります。ポイントは、公平に分けるだけでなく、偏りを減らして全体の力を引き出すことです。ローテーションや選手層の話題でよく出る、便利な言い回しです。
That's where you spread the wealth out a little bit. After, you know, they have the tifos.
トイフォは、サッカーでサポーターが行う大規模な応援演出のことです。巨大な横断幕やフラッグ、スタンド全体でのカード掲示などを指します。試合開始前に行われることが多く、選手や相手に強いメッセージを見せます。日本語ではトイフォやコレオと呼ばれることもあります。実況や現地観戦の感想でよく出てくる単語です。
After, they have the tifo. After, they have the tifo, which you guys know that I'm well into anyway.
I'm well into は、イギリス英語でよく使われる口語表現です。何かにめちゃくちゃハマっている、何かが大好きという意味で使われます。こでの well は、よくではなくかなりという強調になります。be into は、興味がある、ハマっているなので、合わせて強い好みを表します。会話や YouTube でも自然に出てくる言い回しです。フォーマルな文章では、I'm really into や I'm very interested in にすると無難です。
Which you guys know that I'm well into anyway. Which you guys know that I'm well into anyway. And it's got really good acoustics.
アクスティクスは、建物や部屋の音の響き方、つまり音響のことです。日本語で言うアコースティックと関係がありますが、英語の発音は少し違うので注意が必要です。日本語のアコースティックは、音楽ジャンルを指すことが多いですが、英語のアクスティックは形容詞で、音の音響のという意味で使われます。一方で、アクースティクスは、主に複数形の名詞として使われ、音響や音の響き方を表します。スタジアムでは、チャントや歓声がどれだけ大きく聞こえるかに関係してきます。The acoustics are good というと、音がよく響くという意味になります。反対に、The acoustics are bad だと、音が散って聞こえにくいというニュアンスになります。音響と覚えておくと、スポーツでも音楽でも幅広く応用できます。
Yeah, and it's got really good acoustics. And it's got really good acoustics because we've got a plethora of.
プレトラは大量の豊富なという意味で、アプレトラを不豆腐の形でよく使われます。日常英語のアロトフよりも少し硬く、解説やニュースっぽい響きになります。もともとは多すぎるというニュアンスがあり、今でも文脈によっては皮肉っぽく聞こえることがあります。サッカーでは、ベンチに選択肢が山ほどあると言いたいときに便利です。プレンティオフよりも溢れるほどある感じが出るのがポイントです。覚えるときは選択肢が多すぎるくらいあるとイメージすると使い分けしやすいです。
Because we've got a plethora of substitutes, in due course.
in due course は、しかるべきときに適切なタイミングでという意味の表現です。今すぐではないけれど、順番や手続きが進めばいずれ行われるというニュアンスがあります。ビジネスメールでは、後ほど連絡しますや、追って案内しますのように使われます。一方で会話やスポーツ解説では、少ないし、皮肉っぽく、結局後になってからという意味で使われることもあります。例えば交代が遅いと感じたときに、インデューコースを使うと、後手に回った印、像が出ます。文脈によって丁寧にも、批判的にもなるのがポイントです。今じゃないが、そのうちという時間感覚をイメージすると覚えやすいです。
Substitutes, in due course. Substitutes, in due course. It's his Achilles heel and it's costing us.
アキリスヒールは致命的な弱点や最大の弱点を意味するイディオムです。強い人やチームにもそこだけは弱いというポイントがあるときに使われます由来はギリシャ神話の英雄アキレスで彼はほぼ無敵でしたが唯一かかとが弱点だったと言われています。その弱点を突かれて倒れたことから比喩として定着しました。サッカーでは試合運びが弱点、セットプレー守備が弱点のように使えます。日本語のアキレス腱という言い方とかなり近い感覚です。字幕では致命的な弱点ですや最大の弱点ですと訳すと自然です。
It's his Achilles heel and it's costing us. It's his Achilles heel and it's costing us.
いかがでしたか？大前提として田中碧の出場時間が少ないことが最も大きな原因であると話し、そのせいで試合感や自信が不足し、何かをしないといけないというプレッシャーや空回りさえしているようにも見えているのでしょう。ファルカの試合中のマネージメントや、特に田中碧やノントの起用の仕方には明らかに問題だと感じ、エバートン戦でも勝てた試合を引き分けにされたのは、ファルカの責任だと、はっきり苦言を呈しています。それでも今の順位にいて、勝ち点を予想以上に積み上げているのも事実であり、称賛すべき点が間違いなくあり、同時に悪いところもあるという、批判するにも複雑な言い方で批判をしています。チームの状況を総合的に見ても、放出するなら田中碧になるだろうとも分かっていることが、 最後のため息に全て現れているようにも感じますが、この状況が続いて、田中碧がいい意味で移籍できることが、個人的にはベストだと思っているので、田中碧がプレーすることだけを楽しみにして、応援したいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。